Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm not going to show you a particular project that I have done or that I'm working on. Today I want to ask you a question that we all should probably tell ourselves every now and then, no matter if it is about this hobby or anything else. And that question is, are you buying to get opportunities? Or are you buying to make plans? I noticed a pattern in terms of how I tackle things or how I enjoy things, depending on the reason I buy something. I think the easiest way to explain this is with video games. We all had this situation where we had a game that we really liked, and we saw it for a sale online, mostly on a platform like Steam. And we knew that this game is cool, that we really want to have it, that we really want to have the ability to play it whenever we like. But most of the time when we do that, what happens is we buy the game and we maybe even download it, but then we never really started, and sometimes the download part actually isn't really the end of the story either. What we did there was we bought a game for an opportunity, the opportunity to play this game whenever we want. But what happens is we shove it aside, we have made the purchase, some dopamine was sent out in our brain, and that was basically it. I noticed this, but also not for video games, but also for, well, my new hobby. These are for storing things like plant seeds or just about everything that is small. And I bought these with the thought that this would make really cool scatter terrain, because you can just set them up like that everywhere, anywhere on the battlefield, and you have kind of modular terrain where you could hide, or that you could use for adding height to your game. Essentially, that was a really big jump. And I also bought these pearls because I wanted to have them, because they look to be like something that could be really cool to use in a scratch build in the future. But I haven't used them, and I also have not used them in a project because I want to paint them up and I need something where I can use this. And these, once again, are situations where I bought for an opportunity, not to make plans. What is the biggest difference that I'm getting at here? What is the difference between having an opportunity or making plans? Because once you have something, you can obviously make plans with it. That much is true, but usually this happens only a while after you made yourself these opportunities. Let's give you another example. These green fishing pearls. The day I bought them, I told myself I wanted to use them to make a miniature, to build a miniature from scratch. And I did. I didn't complete this miniature the very same day, but I completed it. I started it very soon after making this purchase, very soon after I told myself what I wanted to use these things for. And yeah, now I used the miniature. I bought these fishing pearls with a plan in my mind, and suddenly I instantly have a worth to everything. There is also the same thing with miniatures here. When I bought the novitiate figures, or my battle sisters that I'm currently working on, I very quickly started to build and paint and yeah, to build and paint them. I This is a strong word because actually I only have painted these here up, but well, I also had Space Marines, and I told you that I wanted to use these units in the same army. So for me, that is part of the same project, and it's really strange that I have no problems to work on these models when I have also bought myself this unit. I can proudly say that this is probably one of the smallest piles of shame that there is currently. I have one more sprue. This is another Underworld band, but I don't really count it as part of the pile of shame because it was a gift. I think you should only ever count the things that you buy yourself. And the thing with these two magazines is I did buy them for one reason, because I really like the kits. This is the Praetor kit, and this is the Tree Revenant kit, or no, it's the other force, but the sprue is the same. You can build either a force with weapons or a force with claws, thanks to this sprue. But for the rules of Age of Sigmar, you must not mix them up, but if you're a kit basher like me and don't care, this is one of the coolest and most fun sets to kit bash, at least in my experience of only 2 years so far. Now, why did I buy these? The reason is pretty simple. The miniatures that I made with them, I really like. And for these guys, as I told you just now, I really liked the process of building them. It is such a fun to kit bash with this kit, because you have so much freedom about the choice of arms. And then I just put on the helmets of the Gloomspite Gits sets that I had, and now I had a really unique force that I could just use for whatever I like. And I also decided to build the Praetor troops in a very unique way. These aren't just generic Praetors for my Stormcast Eternal army, they are also characters. This here is another guy from my Fire Emblem Rumhag, just like this archer here actually. And once again, when I made these purchases, just like the purchases for the bits for this guy, I had a plan in mind. I told myself I want to build and paint this character from my game, and I also want to make a miniature with this cool helmet, and since these miniatures are pretty strong, at least from what I heard, it would be really cool. And the commander, I also wanted to paint a certain color scheme, so it would be fitting to have a group of 3 characters. But then I also thought, since the Praetors are pretty good units, and because it would be really cool to have generic looking dudes. Most of my Stormcasts are generic soldiers with helmets on, because I think that fits the aesthetic of the Eternals pretty good. And then, since Stormbringer is a magazine that is going to end soon, and it already has ended, and there won't be as many restocks anymore, I really wanted to grab this year to have another squad. Also because I have actually a spare Praetor model that I could have used to kit bash something, but I decided to build the 3rd miniature anyway, and now it's sitting alone in my shelf, because you get actually 4 Praetors if you follow the entire line. This here was an exclusive Praetor figure that you would get in the 5th issue. And so this was a purchase for opportunity, not to make plans to build characters like these. I actually have planned that I wanted to make more miniatures that look like this, more kit bashes, and then actually bought myself some bits so that I can experiment around with them. but I think I don't have too many plans, and the other thing is I am already busy with building and painting the novitiates and the battle sisters and my salamanders army. At least I was. Most of them is currently finished, but yeah. I also bought these for the opportunity to build more of my ghouls, because I just really loved this set. And I think when you're entering this hobby, there are a lot of pitfalls like these that you can fall in. Pitfalls where you can create different reasons for wanting to buy stuff. For me, it's mostly that I start to browse the Warhammer store or Etsy stores and pick up things and then think to myself, well, I want to make worth of this shipping cost. And then I browse some more. I actually don't buy on the Warhammer store page. I just look up models because it's a pretty convenient place to find models. And then I look at other shops because they are way cheaper. But yeah, essentially I window shop for a while, and sometimes I actually end up not really buying anything. But I can imagine that others do end up buying a lot of stuff because it just looks cool. And then it ends up like all these video games that I have installed or purchased as used products because they were cheap and I knew I wanted to play this game at some point. But it seems to me that if I don't have a reason or a plan to use these opportunities that I created for myself right away, that I usually end up putting the things aside. And I don't think I am the only one with this problem, especially in a hobby where you can express yourself as much as in the tabletop and wargaming hobby. So my latest purchase is actually this pack here, filled with wooden circles. I bought them because I thought these would be very great bases. And especially these really small ones that usually don't have a use. I have these little animals lying around from Bloomspite Kids kits that are meant to be put on bases, but ultimately I didn't really want to do that, and I definitely want to do something with these fellers, but I never knew what, and now I have these really small bases that I can put them on. So what is the message or the reason of this video? At least for me, I want to tell you that before you buy something without any reason or just because it's cool, try to think about making a plan. Try to think what projects or games or books you have. This is a question that you can really connect it to any kind of hobby. While you can say it's nice to have something, and it's better to have something that you never need rather than needing something that you don't have, most of the time, at least if it's a luxury good like Warhammer miniatures, especially Warhammer miniatures, you can buy it whenever you need it. And sure, Warhammer has some tactics, like for example the Novitiate Squad. I kinda want to get another Novitiate Squad, for one reason, because while I did made myself a really unique looking bunch of Novitiate miniatures with different hats, some green stuff and all that, because I didn't like to think that these are just all generics with the typical head. I only have one miniature that I designed with the original head. Oh, I really didn't prime that well here. Well, I kinda like the idea to have another squad that is made of militias and the flamer units, because if you buy a pack of 10 novitiates, you get to either build a whole squad of all these special units that you can only have a single time in your kill team, or you can use it to build as much militias as you like, because you can put as many militias as you want into your kill team, and you can also have up to 2 of the flamer units in your party. And I have this desire, while I not even finished the first novitiates kill team, maybe because it's a feeling of incompleteness. And maybe if I make purchases like those that I just showed you, it's because I know I like these things. I love these things and I would love to build them at some point, but I fear that if I don't buy them now, I will regret it. And I guess in case of Stormbringer, it's probably really a good idea to do that, because these are only 10 to 11 euros each, and the kits are the triple or even more of this price. But especially if it's something like a kit that costs 50 or even more, you can get it for 40, pretty good. It can be really bad for your mental state and for your money, because if you pile up too much, then you might end up with analysis paralysis. What should I build or paint next? And then you don't even start and you're already fatigued. This is the reason why I decided not to buy Resident Evil 2, the original I might add, in sale, despite knowing that I would really like to play it someday. I want to have the opportunity to play this game. But the problem is, if I don't have a plan, if I don't have a reason to start it right away in the very near future, it would probably just collect dust on my computer. Let's just say it's okay to give yourself opportunities, but you should also make it a habit to make plans in the near future. Because if you don't, well, then in case of our hobby, you have a lot of expensive sprues lying around with parts of miniatures that are never going to be built. And, well, yes, at some point you might build them. I really bet that there are things that you will just never build, because the interest that you initially had when you bought it is just down the window at the moment. You can of course unleash this what I see many people writing online is, when you have the desire to get something new, just pull out something from your pile of shame, and then you can have fun with that. I definitely have some things that I want to buy in terms of miniatures to add to my current stuff, but I want to complete some things before I do that, and I think this is a really healthy approach.